The future of a whole industry could be as simple as this. Hi, I'm Jessica with Harmony Harvest Farm, and I'm so excited to give you a behind-the-scenes sneak peek of our new Mum project. This is our initiative to help change the fabric of the industry for American flower farmers as we know it. Just think the power that one flower could have to transform a whole industry. As amazing and vibrant as that sounds, we find ourselves in January in the very cold mother house where the plants are just beginning to wake up. This is where our season fully begins with the mums, and we hope to see a whole lot of farmers waking up in January with us. You see, this month is when we begin to see all of these amazing varieties, and around me is one of 3 houses that holds different varieties. Every crate planted in here is a different variety in our preservation collection, where we will be taking cuttings this month. And oh, look here, you can see a lot of new shoots jumping up. From what looks like death of last year, we have a whole lot of new friends showing up. January, we take tons of cuttings here at the farm. We work with different state governing officials to make sure that USDA says these are clean and compliant so that we can send you quality material. We work with other propagators so that our supply chain can feed many farmers. And then in the spring, we're able to ship out these amazing plug beauties, rooted and ready for your garden, to be planted on your season for amazing fall blooms. Our team will spend the next few months cataloging all of the new growth on every single one of these mother crops. You see, a lot of this information, it just doesn't exist. So we're trying to change that. And through the Mum Project, we're trying to share everything that we learn so that hopefully the chrysanthemums truly can change American floristry.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Slow Flower Show with Deborah Prinzing. Still early in January, and miraculously, I've convinced someone to come on the show with me, and I'm delighted to welcome Jessica Hall of Harmony Harvest Farm, one of the key people, but not the only partner in this business. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, thank you so much, Deborah, for inviting me on and also just hanging out with me at the beginning of a whole new year.
Yeah,
it's always
love it.
fun when we get to do this with friends, right?
And please say hi to your sister and your mom, your partners in the business, because we couldn't squeeze everyone into that little box. So
I will take all of the slow flowers well wishes right back to the farm to them. You can tell I am actually we're challenged on rural internet. So I am at my sister's house right now, but the marketing department is working in the other room. So if you hear dogs, we're like everybody else. We hole up in our houses and get the computer work done when it's too cold to be out on the farm.
Dogs and kids. Well, I'll just mention that by the time people watch this, they'll have just watched a short video that you did pre-record in the high tunnel for that very reason, that we knew we couldn't go live out there because of the kind of signal strength. So I love that little corporate, conference room background you've got. That's pretty piece of art.
Thank you so much.
We'll show lots of pictures of mums. So our topic today are heirloom mums. And, you've been on the podcast before. We've done a couple episodes about just other fun things that you've done, including just the story of your farm. I'll share those links for people in the show notes. But this mum craze is really, I know you go all in when you commit. Like when you bought, the American-made pin frog business and rebranded it as Floral Genius, you are all in. So it's just another one of your obsessions, right?
Well, I think it's really interesting, the whole journey of life that I have been on, and how the path has meandered, and how things that I thought could never connect have connected in the most beautiful and honest of ways. And I like to just say that, at Harmony Harvest, we are truly on the discovery of a better life through flowers and sharing that journey with others. And, you know, we started as flower farmers. We get pregnant, baby on the hip, doing weddings, very small scale, and kind of brought the family in. The passion, the vibe of the farm, that heartbeat really started to get stronger. And my sister joined with the addition of Floral Genius, where we're doing the manufacturing of sustainable mechanics. And all through, I think the stories that we've even talked about, there may have been some small references to us growing chrysanthemums.
Yeah.
Because it's a crop that we actually kind of adopted early on when I was just a little guy.
Really? Because I remember doing another episode about mums. I think I ordered a box or you sent me a box. And I remember asking you if my mums were winter hardy. That must have been about maybe fall of 2022. So it's been a bit, but that was sort of you're saying that's not new. You've been growing mums since you were a kid.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been growing mums, you know, I've grown up in a very agrarian area. Everybody always landscapes, and having the traditional potted mums in the fall was always a part of how our family decorated for the fall. Definitely got my kind of feet wet when I was in the FFA and in those school youth programs in horticulture. Is a great kind of revenue generator. And when I became a flower farmer, I actually met another flower farmer who gifted me my very first heirloom chrysanthemums, which actually I'm going to stop us there. We like to say specialty because we have identified that mums, actually, there are a ton of different faces and looks to them, and we can make our own new ones very easily. And because of that, it's very hard for them to have stable genetics, and it's a crop that truly can't be an heirloom because we can play with it and modify it. So these older varieties, these ones that are just so hard to find, we are starting to try to let everyone know that we should use the right verbiage and call them specialty, which is kind of our US jam anyways.
Right.
It makes me really happy because they look so different than so many of the things that I had grown up traditionally knowing as mums. So I would say, gosh, I've been flower farming for about 10 years now. And it was in that very first year of infancy that I brought my first ones home.
And can we just stop here? Well, let's just stop for a second, because I just want to clarify, because you talked about, you know, your childhood and your Future Farmers of America, and like that kind of garden mum that you see at the garden centers. That is not the same plant as the specialty mums, in terms of stem length, especially, right?
Oh, absolutely. And even in terms of perennializing ability. Some of the specialty mums that we offer now are true perennials. But I didn't know what I had. I had only known those pot mums. So I was gifted them and said I would grow them. But like so many of us, didn't realize that there was another option. That first year, I was really good at killing a lot of things. Seedlings did not survive. A few plants made it. And ironically, those mums were the easiest thing for me to grow. They were a good crop for me to kind of get my gardening feet wet. I was a good gardener, but when you kind of decide to do flower farming on production, it challenges some of those gardening skills that you thought you had the knack for. And the mums didn't make me feel defeated. And after, you know, you get a couple of months of rhythm, you get excited as that first season flower farmer. And usually that's when we find that frost takes us out before we're ready for it. We've just kind of gotten those customers used to us. And I still had mums when everything else was gone. And I said, you know, I think there's something here. I really enjoy this. They don't stress me out all season, and they are the most beautiful way to kind of go out with a bang. And so over the years, we have grown them outside in gardens. Some of the early varieties we put in pick your own beds. I will never forget the first time I went to Holly Chapel's design event in the fall and Flower Stock, and Ariella came and designed with my mom's, and I was about to fall over.
I was there. I remember that. That was so special.
It was really special for me. So I feel like they've really been a part of my story. But we started really enjoying them as we have started ramping up shipping. It was one of the first flowers that we offered as a signature bouquet because I couldn't stop talking about them. So then everybody wanted to see what these flowers looked like. And it was truly the first crop that I could sell out. I could actually move my stems. It was like, okay, feels good.
So how many plants did you have at that point?
Oh gosh, I think we only had about 30 varieties.
Okay.
So I mean, I do everything obsessively. That's still a lot. By a large amount, that's a lot. And it was ebbing and flowing those first few years. I spent a lot of time talking to, all my favorite mentors like Dave Dowling, about like, okay, and we overwinter these and save them how? And I got better and better at it. And in fact, it was right around COVID that we went down into the bottom houses. We were really good at having a blooming crop that took us right up until Thanksgiving. And then we all kind of turned our backs on those houses and made Christmas wreaths as fast as we could. And when we finished that, we went back to clean out those houses because, Lizzie's got to get in the ground. There were plants and they looked really good. And I said, okay, I don't need these, but these are excellent mothers. And so we said, well, I wonder if we could ship bare roots. And I wonder if anybody's interested. And so for 2 years, we actually did that, and it worked really well. We kind of got a bearing, and we were like, okay, you know what? This crop has potential to offer farmers 2 different seasons of income because the specialty varieties that we're working with are not patented, which means unlike all of those mums that we see at Lowe's and Home Depot and everywhere else, we can take this very aggressively, very to grow plant and make more in the same production season. Wow. So if you buy 5, you could have a row of 50 or a very nice hedge in your home landscape. Ask me, I know.
So when you were shipping bare root, what was did you knock all the soil off of a plant? Was it a rooted cutting? What was the size of that?
It was wild. It was a little bit of wild west. And I honestly, that used to be, I got all kinds of old mum production books. And this was a really normal practice for how mums were started many, many years ago. But I also felt like we could do things better. I was like, this is great. We can do this. That's not how the big people buy plants. And plants come as plugs. And there was truly only one source, and that's limited capacity for the whole industry. So we said, okay, interesting. I wonder if we could do plugs. In the same year that we kind of decided to do plug shipping, which was 2022, the summer of it, we kind of said, okay, we would like to ship plants. We also realized that there was a lot of interest in finding these really accessible focal flowers in late season, and finding a source domestically for those. Okay, just take us to Christmas. Can we get through Thanksgiving in the US? And this crop was getting way more interest. So we decided, okay, we need to increase the collection. 30 sounds great. I think at that point we might had been up maybe 20 varieties or down a few, I'm not sure. But we were missing a few ones that we knew we wanted. And we said, we have got to do a better job of being able to preserve these. So we went on a hunt. And my farm team that year We got in cars and we drove all up and down the East Coast. We got on airplanes and we flew out to Oregon.
Did you like cold call people and invite yourself to their farms?
We
or
were everywhere we could find. We were in private collections. We became National Chrysanthemum Society members, and really appreciate that group. In fact, find that there's a wealth of information over here, and we're hoping to be a bridge between some of the other pieces of the industry, because there's a lot of really helpful information. We have we've gone to far places and made some really incredible friends. And some of these plants now in our collection have real personal attachments for us. I know we have one that is literally named Zoe after who gave it to us, or Zoe's mother. But it has expanded now to, we're in the 300 range. I'm not really sure. Somewhere it's been kind of creeping up. Some of us have a problem acquiring.
Should I pop them up on the website? Or I've got the website open. Okay, why don't I share the screen and you can just sort of describe to people what they're seeing here.
Yeah.
So this is the Mum Project page, and look at all these resources here.
Yeah. So we kind of have put all of this together to help kind of build a whole platform for our community to kind of sink their teeth into. Majority of the collection that we have actually came from the former grower of Lansu, which was a large West Coast public arboretum style garden that had a very heavy focus on chrysanthemums and had the ability to acquire a collection beyond the US. So when they dissolved their collection, we acquired from their previous grower. So we're pretty blessed in some of these amazing varieties.
I know, I'm drooling here. These are so exquisite.
Oh my gosh, do you know what kind of heaven I was in this past year as these were kind of waking up for us for the first time? And it's been really fun to tuck them into my home landscape, to figure out the hardiness levels of a lot of them, because that information hasn't traditionally existed.
Oh, and let's just pause for a second and say you're in Weyers Cave, Virginia, not West Virginia, right?
Right in the middle of Virginia. Yep.
What zone is that? What zone are you?
So we were 6B, and I think we just got rezoned to like 7A.
Okay.
Absolutely. We have found that our varieties, we have them going all the way down into the 4s comfortably. And then we have growers in Florida that are eating them up. So we're still working a little bit on determining what the hardiness is on each variety. And because the collection is so large, we're actually, last year we launched our own national trial with growers, farmer florists, we said floral advocates, really excited home gardeners, just to try to get an idea under a variety of different growing hands, what these varieties, how they would perform across the country. And so we met some amazing growers doing that and made some new friends, and then shared that information at our November event, Mum Summit, that we offer, which is our virtual event,
right?
And kind of do a whole recap of the season. And it has been phenomenal for us to get much more accurate feedback from folks on what they're looking for. Those designers, I lean hard. What's the colors? Where are the missing holes? Seasonally, where do you wish you had them? Because the other really great part about this is that they are light sensitive, and so, or daylight sensitive, so we can manipulate when they bloom. And this is a crop that everyone in the US could potentially grow. With these many varieties, we can all find our own kind of niche to supply. And collectively, the thought that we could actually have a domestically branded flower that we might actually be able to see go the other way. I mean, I am all for at least covering the US, but it would be really great if combined forces saw us really be able to latch on. And I don't travel without them. I brought one of my mother's today just to hang out with me.
So tell me what's in there. Are those a bunch of cuttings, or is that one plant?
So this is one of our mothers. This is actually.
Oh, you didn't mean Chris, your mother. You meant your mom mothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, we really like our moms here. Okay, so we love on all moms.
Yeah, cute.
This is a stock plant. So this is one that is just waking up that we are getting ready to take cuttings off of. We have already taken close to 1,000 cuttings
That
this year.
looks so healthy. So
I know, isn't that amazing?
Even when it's only like 2.5 inches, you can take a cutting from that
plant. So we will not begin shipping until the 1st of March. So we still have a while for them to bulk up. And just as a point of reference, now I don't have the best. I went in the greenhouse and got this live examples here. These are Ellie pots. Okay, so this has mum-specific soil in it and a plantable lining. It's kind of like sausage, right?
So it's completely biodegradable. It can go right into the soil.
The whole thing. Yeah. Yep. And so we actually stick our cuttings into this, and then we will ship this, which means the roots were never disturbed. The plants do so much better. And this isn't unique to Harmony Harvest by any means, but it's definitely been an incredible way for us to provide great quality and consistency. Now, what we are offering this year with our plants, because this is what the industry, the few that were doing it, we were like, what is great? This we love. What we wish is we really want more roots, right? So Harmony Harvest is going to do these.
Yeah.
So this is
I can see why, because it's just, if you can't pop it in the ground the minute you receive it, it could dry out.
I mean, I'm just going to assume everybody's like me and we're
super busy.
We have great, listen, you know.
Show me that big one again while you're talking.
If the world was paved with good intentions, I thought I was going to get them in the ground.
Yeah.
This just buys us all some more time, which is super helpful. And, you know, it's important to me also, I really believe in the power that these could collectively do for all of us. We're doing these cuttings. Other people, like I said, could do these cuttings. This is a great spring generator. This is a wonderful plant if we wanted to just do potted plants. There is the ability for us to still do these as cut sales. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to kind of.
It's like 3 phases. You could do the rooted cutting, the full plant, and then the cut flowers, right?
Right. So for us, I just see that this is an opportunity for maybe touching a few of the flower edged industries and providing some connection and making a very profitable crop. However, the other part of that I'm going to say, I've been around long enough. I've been watching the whole dahlia world. I love them too, guys. I mean, they are some brilliant flowers. There is also a lot of us have been, I mean, I've been doing it too. We've been sharing tubers and we've seen a lot of disease issues.
I've heard about this. I've heard this is a big concern when small batch tuber sales happen. People are questioning if there's going to be disease. So how do you prevent that?
There's a lot of diseases. And in fact, I've talked with some other growers who question whether dahlias are at the point that we can even clean them up. And I hate, like, they're still
because
enjoyable.
the genetic disease just goes from plant to plant now.
Yeah. And it's so deeply ingrained. So, you know what? Here's what I say. You don't know until you know. And when you know, you do better. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we can still love on the dahlias. I will not stop growing them. I don't think they're going to be the crop that can save floral America. Chrysanthemums definitely have their own diseases. And we do know about those. So I have been working really hard, and I know that there are other suppliers who have as well, to work with state and federal inspection agencies, make sure we're compliant, make sure there's nothing weird growing here, going out. But I want to take it a step further because, you know what? I remember I just started working with, compliance inspectors. What happens when you need to hustle and you're not at that level? And how do you trust what you get? So it is my mission. And this is one of those things, you know me, Deborah. I'm a visionary who likes to say the future and then have everybody hold me accountable. I'm working really hard to create a truly certified clean genetic program. We're trying to work with some certifications that come through tissue culture so that everything that comes from Harmony Harvest is definitely certified clean, and with the ability that you can test and certify your own things. So those are big dreams and things coming in the future, but we're working with the right mindset to keep this controlled and taken care of for all the other farmers.
Yeah, because otherwise it was kind of like the Dahlia reference. It's sort of like the tuber gold rush, and it was like quick. It was tempting to divide your tubers and sell them. I know there's people who are selling beautiful products. So no implication there.
Right, exactly. So for us, we want to share everything we know. How can we make sure it is good? And then how do we keep it compliant and healthy and sterile and good? So we've also offered our online mom course. I think you had brought that up earlier.
Oh, that might have been when we chatted. Yeah, let me pull that up on the screen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Mom Growing Guide. I love this. This actually came from a frustrated moment of customer service. There's only a few of us at the farm. We love sending out the moms, but then we want to make sure everybody's helped. And call after call of, I got them, what do I do?
Oh, right. You had to create some kind of tool for people.
Yeah. So this became, we just documented exactly how we do it. It is a full year of how Harmony Harvest runs the farm. There's videos. There's links to supplies that we use here at the farm. And everything that I've kind of come up with or have found out, in the School of Hard Knocks, that made growing easier for me to share. So that has been an excellent resource. I always still check in with people. Do you like it? Do you feel like you got your value?
It seems like a really good value because it's something you just keep going back to when you're at that next stage, probably.
Yeah. Now you have to remember, we are not digital content creators, guys. We are, remember, I'm a mom maniac. That's what I am.
Right.
And so it's not flashy, but it has the guts. It has the good information, the content to help you be successful and to make these really an enjoyable piece of your life, whether you are just enjoying them at home, because I have them all over my yard. So my kids even have favorites. And they can tell you which ones press and don't press. Don't ask me. The kids know. And then, from the flower farm, we have fields where we know which early varieties will perform great, put them out in our field production or in our late season pick your own. Our design table goes nuts when moms start coming into season, because you kind of get done with the dahlia shattering. You're kind of over it at that point.
Let me ask you about these some of these questions that are coming up in my mind listening to you. It's like saying that they're around your landscape. Because that would be how I would love to try to use them. Do they need to be staked, or do they flop over? What do you advise on that?
They do. Okay, so here's what I am going to tell you. I was an 80s baby, but I am over my 80s, 90s manicured prim. Everything has to be tight, right, and in its space. These are going to be your cottage-esque plants. These are truly going to vine, twine, and you can stake them. That's how we get nice, strong stems for the garden or for our florist. But do I do that in my home landscape? No, I let them ramble, and I love that.
Oh, I love
some
that.
of them, think very fall English garden-esque.
And they kind of, if they're in with other perennials and shrubs, then they kind of have their friends to hold them up.
Yeah, exactly. And you will find there are different sizes and heights of different plants. Some of them are more petite. And so we have to do a lot of like encouragement to get the stem length for cuts.
Got it. And that's what you're talking about with the light response and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so all of them will kind of bloom when the day length gets to a certain point. So that's actually really easy to modify, like to the point and this is how easy, and I never made the connection. If you ever bought potted mums at the garden center and you put them on either side of your front porch,
right,
and then you turn on the front light and you can't understand why one's not blooming like the other, it's because the one under the light is being affected by the light. That's how little bit of light and how quickly they can be affected.
Wow.
Now outside we can use just some shade cloth, and also in the summer force them to bloom out of season. So there's some, even in my landscape, my kids like to make little teepees and see what they can do.
That's such a cool science project. But for the growing production, you're mostly doing in the high tunnel like we saw in the video, or are you doing some field growing?
So in bloom season, what you saw in the video is us getting all of these crates and crates and crates. This guy just happens to be in a pot of the mother plants where we're going to be taking cuttings and trimming them all up so that we make all of these babies. And then we have high tunnels that we will grow our cut crops. And we usually will try to time up. There are 3 different bloom categories on the mums. We have early, mid, and late.
Okay.
So my early, and maybe a couple I'll test out, mids, we'll put outside. And that's what I say with the field growing, pick your own. We're usually seeing them flush in September. Okay. I've seen them as early as August, a few of them real late August, the 1st of October. And then anything that will definitely bloom mid-October and later, we recommend putting in a tunnel or protecting. Now, like I said, I put some of those close by my house. And for homeowner enjoyment, I still was able to pick blooms for like Thanksgiving in some of the protected areas and make a Thanksgiving centerpiece around my house. Was it perfect? No. Did it mean a lot to me? Yes. Did I have better flowers from the high tunnels? Of course. But you know, we're not going to get those types of blooms naturally that late from anything else.
No, and absolutely not. This is like the miracle flower for extending the season.
Yeah. Wow. And the fact that we can kind of curate, like, oh, I love these bright yellow ones. Let me see if I could play around and experiment with spring. Or how about this? Thank you, Harmony Harvest, for sending these absolutely huge plugs, because they were so happy in there. I forgot to plant them until like August. It happens, even to the best of us. But with late plantings, then we get short bloomers. And okay, that's a potted bloomer for back to school. Send that to the teachers. As opposed to some of the short blooming hydrangeas. So there are lots of opportunities. There's lots of opportunities, I think, with the mums for us all to find a place and really collectively work together. And it's one of the things where there's a lot of information, but not a lot of current information, and how this works with all the advancements that we have seen. So I think it's exciting. I mean, you want to talk about the perfect project plant. Forget the house plants. Bring them inside.
Right. Well, here are the takeaways that I want to just circle back and reinforce. Number 1, we're talking in early January. And this is a good time to start planning your year of mums, because you guys are not going to ship until early March. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So we will start shipping early March, and we will ship up until, that Mother's Day holiday gets close. We ship right up till through the end of April. And we have all of our availability on our website, and the plan is to grow this more, but we got to start somewhere. We have wholesale on these guys too. So if you want some and you want to try a whole bunch, we have small packs of individual varieties available. If you are like, I am a flower farmer, I need to grow a 200-foot row, you can you can apply for a wholesale account, log into the wholesale, and all of the varieties we are offering wholesale will come up with wholesale pricing as well.
So is that on your, right here, more ways to shop wholesale. So people can check that out.
Yep. If you click there and you apply, we will get you approved for account and you'll log back in and all of your prices change. So you may be like, I am very interested in wholesale mums. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they also have flowers and dry flowers and frogs. And we want to be accessible to help grow the industry for everyone. And so the flowers, it was really important for me that the mums we were able to offer on wholesale. The other thing we should point out, though, is that preservation box.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because these are retail. This $40 is a retail price, correct?
Yes.
And this is not a plug. This is a what size is this when it comes?
So these are going to be our 50 plugs, and that is 4 plants per variety.
People who are buying this are either like avid home gardeners or maybe like the chrysanthemum society kind of crowd. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. We also have tons of flower farmers. Some of the varieties are pretty hard to find. I'm looking at Jane Sharp down there. Okay. She was one that was pretty elusive for us to source. We love her a lot.
What a sweet.
Isn't that stuff? Yeah.
It looks like the hairstyle of a 50s, bombshell, actress or something.
Don't you love that? Yes. I love it.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so because of this big hunt you went on, you've been able to get all these mother plants and really produce babies that you can then share with others through this program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about the preservation box. I don't know what is that?
Yeah, so this I love because this kind of gets everybody helping us along with the initiative of preserving these plants. They're all labeled varieties, but it's kind of grower's choice on what goes in that box. So you're going to get a total of 24 plants and a minimum of 10 different varieties. So there's not a whole lot of duplication if you want a lot of variety of what we have gotten. And we try to stick with some more of the varieties that are not listed in main production. So it's a lot of the obscure, harder to find in our collection. And this is how we can kind of ramp them up to offer more in the future. And so the whole goal is that with us kind of sharing these and getting them out there, more people are growing mums, more people are offering mum plants, and then we can actually maybe take back a good bit of that pie.
I really love your attitude too. It's like I've not heard a single thing that you've said that hasn't been encouraging people to basically emulate what you're doing and create their own mum program. You're not afraid of more mum growers because there aren't enough right now.
Correct. No, I'm working really hard to try to show everybody like, hey, this is making me some money. I think it can make you some money. And I think if we all work together, it also makes me really profoundly happy.
Yeah.
So if anybody's just looking for some joy, but I think we feed off of that. And so if we all just work together, look at how much we did with dahlias, right? Yeah. Look at how much.
It changed the whole Slow Flowers, practitioner in a decade. Yeah.
So think of all of our grindy points with that flower and think, okay, if we do it again, this could be the one that really clicks, guys. I just think that there's a lot of opportunity, and so much so that I am literally picking up the phone. I am calling people I am Johnny Appleseeding the mums across America.
Yes, I love
it. I want to talk about it, and I want people to tell me where their pressure points are, because after I guess post-COVID, if that's the world we live in, I am authentically wanting to connect, and I think bigger connections make better things together. And so, yeah, I'm going to go out there and scream about these for the benefit of all of us, and
Love
hope
it.
that I make some change.
Well, Jessica, I want to ask you one kind of concluding question, but is there anything else that that I didn't ask you or that we didn't touch on? Because this is a lot for people to take in, and they need to get on your website and spend some time. There's a lot of FAQs that are, free resources already there. So do that, and then sign up for updates, because you're going to announce when product is available. People can order product now, right?
Order product now. We're trying to make it so that it doesn't feel like I missed the gun.
Yeah.
We don't want it to feel like scarcity, guys. I want more of this.
Yeah.
So we're doing our part right now on that. There is one thing, Deborah. If anybody gets anything from this, grab the pencil. Listen close.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Slow mums.
Oh, right. You're going to share a promo code. I have it written down right here. We'll share that with everybody who listens. So what is that? Like your secret prize if you place an order?
Slow Mums is going to get you a special, super secret, only for our Slow Flowers listeners and community, deal on any of those mums that you buy, retail or wholesale from us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
I wanted to thank you for reaching out and sharing this. I wanted to just circle back to the whole thing about the certification and the, third party evaluation.
Yep.
What is that? What's the timeline on that?
Yeah, so we are certified. We are as compliant as you can get.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes. So when you get any boxes from Harmony Harvest, whenever there is plants that have the root system, okay? So you get your bouquets from us, you don't see the sticker. But if you get plants that have a root system, you're going to see our inspector, Miss Molly. She's like a personal friend now. And she's been helping me because I keep trying to level up the certification.
Right.
That is our certification label that goes out, and we are certified annually, that says we are compliant. We've been checked. We work with our state and we work with the federal USDA. We've been working with other independent labs, and this is where it gets really pricey, to kind of do a DNA profile of each of these varieties.
Wow.
And from that, we'll be able to create a whole bunch more, but we'll also be able to make sure that they are clean and maintained that way. So it is an ongoing process. I think we're looking not in the months kind of timeline, but it's something that we share a lot about at our annual summit and on our newsletter for the mums, to tell people how this is coming along and where we are. And so there's been some interesting advancements, but join the newsletter and follow along.
No, that's really helpful. It's like you've done what is available to you now, but now you're going to private labs to kind of get a little more deep into intel, I guess, about these varieties. Yeah.
We need to make sure the plants are clean, but how deep can we check those varieties to make sure there is no hidden viruses? And also, how do we keep them clean and sterile? And then how do we create a certification? So that is my end goal, is that we will see certifications that actually, I'd love to see it not just on mums, but that's my baby. Hey, my plants have been certified that they are clean genetics. And here's the other part I want, because why not shoot for the moon? I'm a small grower and I want to hustle plants, and I want you to do it too. I want you to have the ability of testing and certifying your own things off your own farm.
That's what I was wondering about.
Sounds big and it sounds big and scary, and I think that's why there hasn't been as much activity. But I'm not letting that scare me, and I am Googling a lot of stuff. I'm hanging out the lab coat if I have to, but it's not as scary as it might feel intimidating.
No, it's like you're kind of creating your own template, and then that's a template that your customers could also adopt if they want to start doing their own, breeding or whatever.
Right. The whole goal is that we can all work on this together, because we are all given one life, and I don't know that I could do this as big as I have dreamed up in my one life. So let's get everybody together and see how big we could blow it out together.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I definitely want to participate, at least as an attendee, in your mom summit next fall, because it kind of comes and goes. I know you've done it twice, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. It was so much fun. We had the president of the National Chrysanthemum Society.
I saw
speaking.
that. That's crazy.
Wealth of information. And I have found growers these plants were not as rare as they are now, but growers who remember from their childhood, because they're second or third generation, and what it was like cultivating them back then. And I am a sucker for the stories that go along with them.
Yeah,
because
I love it.
That energy continues in these plants, and we send that out in the world, and that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's like your calling now to keep this beautiful cultivar, or genus, I guess, alive. All the cultivars, and relevant, and they're more relevant than ever because of the desire to have local and seasonal flowers. And that season sweet spot is just like Thanksgiving flowers on your table that you grew yourself or bought from your favorite flower farmer.
Right.
And they're not just ornamental cabbages. I mean, this is awesome news, right? All right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. I'm so inspired. And, I love the timing of this. There's a lot of resources. We'll share them in our show notes, and use that Slow Mums promo code if you want to get a little love from the team at Harmony Harvest Farm. And let's check back in. And when your fields are just amazing, I want to see photos.
Oh, you just wait. I will load you up.
Okay. Thanks so much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.